So hello everyone, this is your Krishna from Women Today YouTube channel. So in this channel, we have been interviewing many women entrepreneurs and working women across different cities in India. We are just traveling to different cities and we are doing offline interviews, and we are also doing online interviews across different cities and also across different countries in the world. So today's our guest is basically from Pune, but right now she is in Bangalore and she is a famous yoga therapist over there. So I welcome you, Arya, Sant, ma'am, to this Women Today YouTube channel. Kindly introduce about yourself, about the kind of work that you do to the audience who are watching this interview right now, ma'am.
Yes, thank you, Krishna. Namaste to all for a very good introduction. Myself, Arya Sant, I am from Pune, but right now I keep traveling. So, right now I'm in Bangalore and Mysore. I keep traveling as a yoga therapist. So, yeah. So, I'm here and thank you for calling me on your channel.
That's great, ma'am. So also tell us, ma'am, at what point of time in your life did you decide that you wanted to make your passion, make your profession in yoga? So tell us about it, ma'am.
Okay, so my background comes like my father happens to be a yoga teacher, a yoga therapist. As a young kid, I used to be fascinated by people, bending in, like you cannot imagine kind of things. So for me, it started with fun. As a kid, it started with fun because I was very flexible back then. And then slowly, when I understood, when I became a little more mature to understand the theory behind it, basically why it is done, how it is done, what is the history, and I was fascinated with it. And basically, I chose it as my passion and career because I love taking classes. I love teaching, and basically, I love giving therapy to people. More than that, the smiles that I get, the happiness that I see on their faces after sessions are done, after they are getting cured. Because I'm a yoga therapist, I work on them on a medical grounds also. So when they start curing themselves, the happiness they have is what all I love, and I think that is why I started to do it professionally also.
I do understand, ma'am, because as you said that in the beginning you are just curious about what is actually by mean by yoga, because people are bending, people are
Yeah,
just moving their bodies, they're making it too much flexible, just like a rubber. So it's like a practice
exactly.
which we should do daily. Only then we can make the body bend, because without having any kind
Exactly.
of if you just even skip like 1 or 2 days and we are doing the same yoga asanas, like if you do it in Monday and if you skipping it for Tuesday, Wednesday, then we will not be able to attain the same posture as we did it in Monday, and we'll be feeling like, am I the one who did it on Monday, because right now I'm not able to do, because that's how the yoga works. You have to practice it daily, then only you will be able to bend your body physically and also mentally. I do understand. Also you said that because of yoga you cured a lot of diseases which made them happy, and because of that genuine kind of results which you get by doing yoga, and while seeing the smiles from the clients which makes you happy, is something like which proves that you're a genuine soul. So that's I truly appreciate, ma'am. So also you're
Thank you.
basically you have practiced Ashtanga yoga. So tell us, what do you mean by Ashtanga yoga, and how do you actually practice it, and tell us what are the things can we expect when we just learn Ashtanga yoga from you, ma'am.
Okay, so Ashtanga Yoga happens to be a very ancient practice. It is a set of asanas, that you do in a particular flow. So basically, there are three. It is Guru T. Krishnamacharya who has introduced these, who has made them a set of asanas. Something that is primary series is there, intermediate series is there. That is called as Yoga Chikitsa. Then is Nadi Shodhana. Yoga Chikitsa, the primary seed is nothing but it means that you can get rid of all the imperfections, all the diseases in the body of with a consistent practice every day. So for me, when I used to think about Ashtanga, when I used to see my elders, my gurus doing Ashtanga, I used to be in a wow. Because for me, when I moved from a particular way towards Ashtanga, for me, Ashtanga was like you do everything in the air, you're flying. But when I started doing the practice, I actually understood how therapeutic and how meditative it is. With the breathing, with the performing asanas, with staying in the breathing, it is a complete awareness of your own body. So, the people say, or this line is very famous, that yoga is life. or yoga way of life. Basically, yoga way of life. But what I discovered, what I feel, not discovered, but what I feel is yoga is not the way of life. Yoga itself is life. Because in today modern world, we mistake yoga as just asanas or the physical practice or the physical movement that we do. It is not that. Yoga is so much more than that. If it's very common, Ashtanga. Ashta means eight. Anga means limbs. So Ashtanga, there are eight limbs: Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranaya, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. So it's like each step. Asana is the third step, not even the first. So, there are different ways. There is Hatha Yoga, there is Ashtanga Yoga, Patanjali, who's given Ashtanga Yoga. There is Hatha Ratnavali, Kiran Samhita by Kiran Muni. So many texts. Everywhere, yoga means union. And again, union of what? The individual soul with the universal soul. So it is very therapeutic. You really understand what all about it is, because for me, when you practice ashtanga, when you are in a particular asana, when you're performing a particular asana, you are breathing, you're concentrating on the breathing, you're checking your own self, you're aware where the body is going, where my arm is going, where my mind is going, where my thought is going. So it is very therapeutic and meditative. It's just not an asana, but it has to complete all the limbs. That's what I feel.
Yeah, I do understand that Ashtanga is one of the part of yoga, and also you said that yoga is actually life. So in a life,
Yes,
what a normal human being will do? He'll get up, he'll go eat, he'll go for work. Again, he'll go for lunch. He'll work. He'll come for dinner. He'll work. Spend some time with friends, family, earn some money, and he'll sleep. And the routine goes on. It goes on from generation to generation. So it's the way of life that we lead. And also at the same time, if you want to live the life in a very full circle, like if you want to live it to the truest full potential, then you have to actually kind of bring out the full potential. And in order to bring out the full potential, you need to do some kind of yoga asanas. So only when we do yoga asanas,
yeah,
then only you will be able to kind of pull out the full potential out of you. Because as you said, breathing is very much important, not only for the kind of life we live, it's also for very very vital for each and every decision which we take. It's vital for each and
exactly.
every action which we do. Suppose if the person is breathing, like if he's not having a proper inhaling and exhaling, then it indicates that he's having some kind of asthma disease. And breathing actually
Yeah,
should come from naturally. It should not be like mechanically. It should not be like kind of without an automated process. If it comes like manual process, if we are doing it manually, then we can't do it. Because we what to say, some people they'll be like, okay, I'm suffering from great disease, I can't even automate my breathing process, I have to do it
exactly.
manually. It's kind of very tough process. And when we do actually practice yoga, we can actually get rid of asthma and many other problems. There are each and every yoga asanas is a cure for each and every diseases that we can just
Yeah,
discuss later. And
I
also,
know.
yeah, and also a great yoga certified instructor. So tell us about your learnings, ma'am. Because being a normal yoga teacher and someone who is professionally educated in this stream, like a certified yoga instructor, is something different. So tell us about
Yeah.
learnings right from the basic to a pro you're right now. So tell us your experience in learning these kind of yoga asanas. And actually your learning doesn't stop at one place. It doesn't have any kind of what to say,
Absolutely.
a milestone. It's a kind of thing which you have to get updated day to day, because there are a lot of technological advancements happening, and also kind of physical developments. There are a lot of things happening, and because of which we should stay ourselves updated. And how do you actually keep
Yeah.
yourself updated, and how do you make sure that you keep on learning these kind of practices? So tell us about it, ma'am.
Sure. So, my journey of yoga started with therapy. So, to start from a very beginning, my father had met with an accident. So, he was not well. He was like, paralyzed at the one side, but he was the one who came into yoga. He was cured through yoga without any operations or anything, cured through yoga, and he chose his path as yoga. And I, as a very, very, very young kid, I used to go all the time along with him. I am a daddy's girl completely. So I used to accompany him every time, every where. So during his, therapy classes, I used to go with him. I was very small. I don't understand what's going on, but still I see. They say that whatever a child, whatever is seen from childhood, that gets, in the brain, that gets carved in your memory, that gets carved in your brain all the time. So my journey started with therapy. So I grew up watching remedial yoga, watching my parents teaching, watching his friends teaching, a lot of teachers going to the conventions and everything. As I grew, I started practicing on my own. I started teaching at a very young age. I started teaching when I was in eighth standard. And then when it came to choose the path, I was like, I want to do that I would be happy with. And what I'm happy with is teaching yoga, teaching, taking classes, helping out people. So that is what I love to do. That's my passion. And I really wanted to choose that as my career. So then I chose my career. I am doing currently also, I'm having my degree in SVSA University, Bangalore again. Then came the milestone. I went to Shivananda, did my teacher trainings, had more, because then I didn't have any professional like a degree training. I did have professional training from gurus, the one who invented remedial yoga, the therapeutic yoga. The world knows him. So, but other than that, when it comes to academics, I chose yoga in this way. And then I came to, the certifications. I did my yoga instructor's course. I did my TTCs, the advanced teacher training. Then recently, I have done my registered yoga teacher, that is RYT, 500 hours of Ashtanga and Vinyasa. So, yeah, I did experience different types of yoga, but what I feel is it's all one, finally. It's all one. The goal is one. So I feel I was in this travel to find my way. Everybody has to find their way on their own. And I think I am on the journey of finding my own way. That's how I'm in here right now.
Of course, each and every person, only when they live for the kind of purpose which they are born in this world, then only they will be able to have a kind of soul satisfaction. Because everybody, right from our childhood, we will be either kind of will be given a path by our parents, by our kind of relatives, or whoever in front of us, they will be giving guiding us the path, and we'll be going in that path. Like what after schooling we'll be going into either medicine or arts or either any kind of departments without knowing what's our actual passion is, because we actually blindly
Yes,
follow them without knowing what's happening in our life. And at one point of time we will be like going 24 hours doing our day-to-day life will be just circling, keep on going, and at one point of time we'll be turning back and we'll be realizing like this is not the thing I wanted to do in my life. I just wanted to do something which is like which will actually make my soul satisfied. Even if you are able to earn some money
exactly.
because of the kind of professional work we do, it is something like okay, there is some kind of lag. And when we do in the time of 60s or 70s, if we are lucky enough to live in that kind of age, we will be feeling like why can't we even try our kind of thing which we wanted to do in our life. So I think now your soul has picked up the right path for you being a yoga instructor, because you always wanted to be a yoga instructor. Because based upon your past history, you told that your father had some kind of problems with his physical body, and with the help of yoga he is able to cure everything and he came back to normal life. That's something which kind of I can understand. As a parent, as a son, I can realize that okay, if this thing has actually cured my family, then why can't we just propagate the kind of good things to other people? As you said that okay, if I can see a simple person smile after I'm teaching them yoga, and if they're able to get rid of every kind of diseases from the body, then it makes my soul happy. So I do understand now this actually inspired you to become a certified yoga teacher. And also you said that you got this kind of spark right from your 8th standard, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
did.
When you're saying this, I am also going back to my school days, right? I was just going to yoga classes during my 7th and 8th standard, and at that time, the very easy asana which I did was savasana, which is just sleeping like.
That's
It
everybody's favorite.
it will be very easy. And what to do? We'll be doing a lot of asanas, and at the very end of the hour, like after 1 hour, we'll be doing this as the last asana, because it will be like we don't know whether your person is actually sleeping, or is he concentrating on the breathing and doing in the savasana or not. So that's how my school days went like that. And also, you are a certified yoga teacher. You are a RYT, like you spent around 500 hours as a certified yoga teacher. That's something to be appreciated, and also that is something to be looked upon, because what to say, if you want to become a pilot, there is a limited, I mean, there's a specific flying hours which you needed to complete in order to become a kind of what to say, that's called first officer. They used to say it's a first officer. That's the first kind of role which you play as a pilot, and before that you have to complete the flying hours. So in the same way, I really appreciate you that you have been a yoga teacher. You have already crossed over 500 hours. So that's really great, ma'am. So I mean, you have did a lot of accomplishments. So also tell us, ma'am, there will be a lot of age categories. There will be kids coming to you. There will be elderly people coming to you, middle-aged people coming to you, teenage people. There will be working people. There will be kind of sports person, and a lot of people you are actually dealing with in your day-to-day life. So tell us, how do you actually tailor your kind of yoga classes to each and every age category, so that they'll be able to kind of do at very ease, and they'll be able, because doing yoga is something like, without having a proper yoga instructor, if they do the pose in a very wrong manner, then it will lead to side effects. It will create some kind of back pain
Exactly.
or something in the future. So being a certificate yoga instructor, tell us, how do you actually tailor your yoga classes to each and every age categories, ma'am?
When it comes to me, I try to understand the basic background of a particular person. Whether, where, like, what type of work is the person having? Is it a sitting job? Is it a standing job? Or how much amount of stress day to day life? How is it traveling? Is he driving for longer hours? Is his arms all the time like this up? If it's a homemaker, then is she always, in the kitchen, arms forward, working, lifting heavy weights? So what happens is these daily life chores of a working person or a non-working person matters a lot. So basically, what we do is we have to correct the posture. There's something called as alignment. So I work more on the alignment, because if there is any kind of disalignment in the body, that is that results, that is converted into pain, result of pain. Example: the one who writes a lot will have pain in the shoulder, in the neck. It's because all the time the hand is like that. So the body is not aligned in the position for like maybe 5 hours, and we are the ones who correct it in that particular session. So for me, the background of the person, the medical history of the person matters a lot. It may be a person who's come for a therapy yoga or for a general class, doesn't matter. But to understand, to know their history is very important for any yoga instructor. Because if you are not aware of something and you tend to take something that may harm them, then that would be a problem. Similarly goes with elderly people. Like, I also have been learning yoga with props for a very long time. From my childhood, that was the first type I started learning, remedial yoga and yoga with props. So for elderly people, so props are very essential. Simple props like a chair in your house, the sofa in your house, the bed in your house, the wall. The wall is called man's best friend. You can do everything with the help of the wall. So there are few things. So we are trained in such manner that we can see, we can, imagine, okay, this thing can be used like that. So this is what I do. And when it comes to kids class or a children's batch, trust me, it is the most difficult part of a yoga instructor's life. Elderly people can understand if you talk, if you explain, you take them, you make them stay in a particular position, everything. But children, they are not stable. They always keep, hodgepodge here, there, running. So they need the class fast. You need to keep them engaged all the time. Also, when it comes to children, you need to focus on their growth. How better the growth of the body, growth of their mind, the concentration, focus, everything can increase. So everything has to be a goal oriented when it comes to teaching.
Oh yeah, I do understand that dealing with kids is something like you're dealing with kind of complicated things. I do not want to tell it as complicated thing. I want to tell it as a, what to say, it's a kind of enjoyment which you can do,
It's
but
enjoyment.
it in a very complicated way. Like what you say, you'll be teaching a kind of yogasana to the kid, and you'll be concentrating on the elderly people. If you have both kind of kids and elderly kind of mixed sessions, and while you're just concentrating on the elderly, that kid will be running here. That kid will not be having any kind of
Yeah, a
ideas that.
tip,
Yeah, you just
a
continue.
simple tip, never combine kids class and elderly people class.
Exactly.
Never. Basically, with the kids class is the why I said more difficult. It's actually a, a class where you learn because the kind of questions they ask, the kind of imagination, the thinking process they have, sometimes it amazes you. Okay, can somebody really ask me this question also? It's interesting. And you start. So it's a new process of learning for you also. So it's a very nice experience.
Yeah, if you want to kind of take notes, if you want to become a great scientist, if you want to do some PhD research papers, the only thing you can do is go to a kid, train them with yoga, and you don't need to have some kind of questions framed for your PhD kind of theories. The every kind of questions will be framed by the kid who we train. They'll be asking like why we are standing in this position, why we are sleeping, why should we bend our legs, and why should we do all these kind of things? Can we sleep in savasana? Can we kind of do some stretching in padmasana? Padma Bhusana, like there will be a lot of questions
True,
happening
true,
over
true.
there. That's a kind of good thing, but also at the same time, what to say that we will be just taking it as, and we'll be going to home, and only we are doing some kind of important things. We'll be having kind of say that kid used to ask this kind of questions. Now I am also just thinking, okay, why we are doing? What is the benefit of this? So we will be actually kind of
Exactly.
we can actually kind of bring out the kind of answers for the kind of questions which is raised by the kids, because elderly people, they are just
Yes,
structured in a very in a well mannered way. They will not be asking us, they'll be just having some kind of blind trust, or they'll be just doing whatever we just do. But kids are something like they're genuine to the world, and they're just truly introduced to the world. So that's why they have a lot of questions
pure
running
souls.
over in their mind. I thoroughly accept it, ma'am. So also I can see that you are actually training a lot of age categories, and you're working with not only with different age categories, but with different kind of people with different kind of needs. So I do accept that we were just conversing before the interview that you had an appointment with a pregnant woman, and you have to teach her the classes, and that's why we are just able to kind of having kind of discussion about the alignment of the interview. So I do accept that these are the things that prove that you are actually a great certified yoga instructor, because only professionals can deal with complicated kind of things which happens in human life. Of course, a woman who is actually carrying a baby, like it's very, I mean, I'm usually afraid of dealing with persons like them, because they are actually carrying a life within them, and we have to actually properly give
Yeah.
instructions to them. So it's like you're dealing with what to say, it's equivalent to a pilot flying an aircraft. So they're dealing with more than 300
Yes.
people in that single aircraft. So it's like your yoga instructor, you should actually give some right instructions to women
Yes.
who you are actually dealing with, so that then only the baby will be having the kind of good growth, and it will be having a successful life in the future. So I do accept, ma'am. So
Definitely.
also you are just, I saw a lot of Instagram kind of post. You are doing a lot of aerial yoga. So I'm just very
Yes.
amazed by the kind of work that you do. I mean, doing normal yoga is very kind of, we can just practice it. We can just make sure that we are just doing the right pose and right alignment, movements, everything correct. If we practice for more than 6 months. But aerial yoga is something like we will be. I'm just getting fear. Like, okay, we are just swinging in the air by some kind of rigid materials. We have to make sure, first of all, the thing which is carrying us, making us fly in the air is totally like it's very
Yes.
grip, and it's very trustable to use. That's the right word which we have to. Okay, I am ready with the things which I need to do. The thing is that whether this thing which is hanging down from the ceiling, is it good for our body? Will it be able to hold us? Will it be able to hold us till we just do our yoga? And what will happen if it just snaps? So there will be a lot of things happening in our mind. So consider me as a beginner, and I'm coming to you and I'm seeing you doing kind of aerial yogasanas. So tell us, what do you want to tell us about the basic thing about aerial yogasanas, and what are the benefits of doing it, ma?
So basically, when you talk about, getting scared, we make them understand that basically there are three types. The first one, the basic, which you start on the floor with the help of the aerial, but you do it on the floor. Second is you do on the floor as well as with the usage of the aerial a little bit. It's 50-50. And the advanced is you completely perform it on the silk or on the aerial. That is what are three types. What happens is to bifurcate it, the things that seem impossible to do on the floor are actually very easy to do on the aerial, and the things that we do on the floor extremely easily, they are actually very difficult to do on the aerial for a beginner. Because to create that stability on aerial like a ground, that's a difficult thing, because everything is on your body. Second thing I would like to denote is people don't like doing pranayam. I have come across many people who say that we like doing yoga asanas, but we don't like doing pranayam. Those people, when they came to me for aerial, I then asked them, this is why you need to do pranayam. The control over your breath when you stand on that silk is very important, because if you don't have the control, the silk will keep moving. I know in aerial you've seen that it keeps moving, but actually, when you perform the asana, you're supposed to keep the silk extremely stable with your body on it. You have to climb on it without it swinging. So that is the challenge to you for you to do for a beginner. That is where you work a lot on your breath. When it comes to aerial, you have to work a lot on your breathing, and it's the best part, I guess. Best part for the people who always are on a desk job. They come out from their thoughts and concentrate. They live in the present. Aerial is something where you need to live in the present. You forget about what you're doing now, and you tend to do something wrong, and that can be scary. So aerial actually teaches you to be in the present, really focus and concentrate on what you're doing right now. So that is what I feel everyone should, at least once in a life, try that, to analyze your own self. It's a very, very good practice.
So also tell us, ma'am, so what are the main yoga asanas you like to perform on the ground or in the air? So it's the aerial yoga asanas or it's the normal yoga asanas? What do you like to perform the most, ma'am?
I love Shirshasana. I love Shirshasana. Head
Okay.
down, legs up. As I said, things for people who seem impossible on the ground are extremely easy on aerial. It is the asana. Shirshasana is extremely easy when you do it on the aerial and when you do it on the floor. It's very therapeutic, actually. People with cervical, they can't do it on the floor because they tend to put the pressure on the neck if they're not trained properly with the proper guide. They can go for an aerial Shirshasana because there is no weight on the neck. You're hanging with your hip support and legs in a butterfly position, in the Baddha Konasana position, and you're just hanging upside down. It's a very good practice. So I think for some things that people are not allowed to do or not allowed to take a weight a lot, aerial can be a therapeutic option also.
The butterfly kind of yoga where we have to tap our thighs by in a butterfly position in the ground. It's something like it's a very tough process when we do it on the ground. So is it easy when we do it in the aerial, when you do it in the armor?
I will say more than easy, it's something where you cannot restrict. On the floor, you tend to restrict yourself if you push. In aerial, the silk is wrapped around your body in such a way that you can't restrict. You either have to come out totally, or you have to stay there with the smile, with the pain in your groins. So that's that. It doesn't give you the option of restriction.
I do. I now truly understand that it's like in a way that it will make us actually perform the right yoga because we are actually made to do
Exactly.
it. So because we are actually bound with the kind of things in the air, we are just hanging up in the air, and we will be made to in a position that we will be performing it in the right way. The thing is that, as you said in the beginning, that breathing kind of evaluates, it's a kind of calibration which we should actually make it in the right way. If you are having a proper breathing, then even if you're having any kind of task given to us, we can, without any kind of fear, we can just do it without any kind of flaws. But if you are having kind of abnormal breathing, even if the kind of job given to us is a simple task, because of abnormal breathing, we will not be able to do it because our heart is not calm. And also, you told that
Yes.
only when we are doing aerial yogasanas, if you are not swinging and if you are able to maintain by doing the kind of asanas by just swinging it and without moving, then we are actually performing it in the right way. So that also is
Yeah, it's
taken up.
actually a control over there.
Yeah, actually, that's a great thing
Uh,
because, as you said, that when we are actually able to control our breathing, we will be able to control our mind. And with the help of controlling our mind, our physical body will be controlled. Ultimately, we'll be able to just make a still kind of position without swinging. Now, I do understand why it's important, mainly for corporate workers sitting in bench. Now I understand. Get your point totally right now, ma'am. So
Yeah, to make it easy, actually, to make it easy for everybody to understand, I would like to add up to it. To analyze, people will ask, how come controlling your breath will control your mind? The thoughts. It's very basic that if your emotions change, if you're angry, if you're happy, if you're sad, if you're tense, the first thing that in the body changes is your breathing. If
exactly.
you're angry, your breathing changes. If you're sad, your breathing changes. If you're happy, you're running. The first most thing that transforms into something else or it changes its form is breathing. So the moment, in our institute, in our college, or even I have been taught before any examinations, before any important meetings, before taking some serious decisions, we are suggested to do Nadi Shuddhi, Nadi Shodhana Pranayama, because it balances your prana, calms down your mind, and your mind has to be really calm before any examination or decisions or any meetings. And it is very beneficial. It's a tip from me to everybody. Please try it.
Of course, in many movies, the hero, he will be telling the heroine that whenever you want to take a good decision, take a deep breath and leave it. Then only you will be able to arrive at
Exactly.
the right decision. So I do accept it that we have to follow your decisions, ma'am. Yeah, ma'am. Breathing is actually a great vital thing which we should actually take care of in our life, because as you said that each and every kind of work that we do depends upon our breathing. Because what to say, if a person is running to office and if you hit straight to the cabin, and if they talk about the kind of day-to-day things that they wanted to do in the office, you can actually notice the kind of difference in the talking because of the difference in the breathing. And also, when you're just talking to
Exactly.
a person who is actually sitting in the office for more than 5 hours, so they'll be talking in a very different manner because the breathing actually kind of differs from that person. So, yeah, yoga practice, I mean, doing yoga practices kind of has a control over the breathing. I do understand it now. So, also being an yoga instructor, you have been doing this for several years. So, tell us what are the most common principles that you follow and what kind of techniques that you wanted to teach to the people who are coming to your session. So tell us basically about the principles, about your experience. So naturally, what and all you want to say about the normal yoga, the aerial yoga, you can just tell it right now, ma'am.
Yeah. So basically, my principle, I also said before, is alignment of the body. Basically, I work a lot on alignment of the body because that is what is important. That is what sums everything up. Definitely, there is many other things that you have to incorporate in your practice while teaching. Also, you need to give them, a daily dose of motivation so that they will, come again the next day, because that is something. If you have a really really heavy class, for that matter, I will say a difficult class for the students, then they may not appear the next day. Another thing, the consistency is the key when you talk about yoga. About yoga sadhana, all the 8 limbs, or if you're a hatha yogi practitioner, the 4 limbs, 7 limbs, it's the consistency is the key. If you break the consistency, it is very difficult to go back to square one. You have to start everything from square one. And then it's a human tendency that you keep on postponing things, in your mind. So that is very important. Even if you're missing, you have to make an effort to get out and do it. Practice, at least, to learn what is the most beneficial is self practice. So for my teaching, my principles are basically alignment of the body, asking the person of to do self practice every day, to analyze the body every day, understand the changes. Because what happens when you teach, when you open up the body, there are some things that are suppressed. They tend to come out. So it is not that because of practice we developed a new thing. It is just that it was suppressed and now it is coming on the surface and we are going to treat it. So the understanding and especially give time. Do not be in a hurry. Another principle is you have to give time. That is what I think people should do.
Yeah, of course.
That is what I do.
Yeah, of course, because it's not only for yoga, it's for each and every kind of day-to-day work which we do. We should have a proper kind of discipline, kind of self-practice. We should do it regularly. If we just skip going to the gym, if we
Yes.
just skip doing our math, if we just do skip everything, even some little kind of techniques which we follow in our daily life, then we'll be kind of lagging somewhere or the other. And this will be actually kind of giving a lot of larger impact which we might not know what may be happening in the, we may be thinking that okay, skipping this part will be like okay, it's okay, but it's going to create a larger impact in the future, but not in a very good
Exactly.
way. That's what
Yeah.
I'm and you both are trying to tell. I do understand, ma'am. So also you
So,
just
actually, yeah,
yes,
yeah. So there is a small thing. People take this practice or yoga very lightly. Something that anybody can do. It's not like that. Like, honestly, I have heard, or definitely when I say I take classes, I also take fees from people. So I come to understand from few people who say that, ma'am, it is a little on a costlier side than others who take it. I want to tell these people that, as working in an IT company is your profession and you have spent so many years learning and studying about it, same for me, I am a yoga instructor. I am a certified yoga instructor. I am doing my graduation, going to do my post graduation in the same field. It is not as easy or as regular you see. It is extremely deep. The knowledge that you guys learn is the same thing that we learn. It is not something that comes out very easily. It's not something that you can understand very easily. The acceptance, as well as another thing of mine, is uh, you need to have a value of everything, not in the terms of money, but in terms of giving respect to a particular form or a particular art. So, yoga sadhana is something that is valued and will pay back you in terms of your health. As I said, yoga is just not a way of life, it is life. So, earlier, people used to live in the particular form or do the particular chores that used to connect them to yoga sadhana. That is what right now also in India, many things are going on, even outside India, abroad, many things are going on, going back to your roots. So this is also a way to go back to your roots. Go back to your roots doesn't mean to, live the way they used to live. It is about to live the thought they used to live with, to live with the intention, to live with the intention to value the things is what we are trying to go back to.
yeah, truly what just tell and also repeat what you tell. And yeah, we should actually go really back to the rules. What to say? Kind what is there is we should take daily should brush so that you'll be having a good kind of teeth. But it's way before during the British age where they have captured India. During that time itself, they'll be using charcoal. But the People who came from abroad, they told us not to use any kind of charcoal. We are giving this is a toothpaste, please use it. So it's something like, what to say,
Exactly.
we are just rooted, only when we are just rooted to our ancestors, the way of life. It was before, like, what to say, before, consider before 500 years, people will be just doing some agriculture, they'll be doing their normal life, and everything is used to be healthy. But today it's like, people are not giving, as you said in the middle of the conversation, that people are not actually giving a lot of kind of concentration and respect to each and every activities. Only when we give kind of
Exactly.
concentration to each and everything, we should not take each and everything like, okay, they're doing this in a very simple way, then it should be very easy. It's not like that, because they have trained themselves
Perfect.
for many years, and it's not going to be like an
Exactly.
easy way. And also, when speaking about the kind of charges they actually do, it's not only for the work they do, it's for the entire training. What to say, if you're going to meet a doctor and if they're having specialization for more than 20-25 years, then the kind of charges will be totally different. They'll be like having a kind of experience which a normal regular doctor, they can't actually kind of analyze the kind of diseases which you are having. So I just want to tell you a very
Exactly.
small story to people, to next time when people who are kind of gives you this kind of questions, you can just answer them by telling this simple story, which I'm going to tell you right now. There used to be one large ship. It's a kind of, it's a ship where I think it may be a tourist ship. You can just tell it in any way. So I'm just telling you, you can just tell
Okay.
it in any way. It may be a tourist ship, or it may be a cargo ship, or anything, something like that. Okay, consider it may be a cargo ship. What happened is that the cargo ship, once it came to a country, it has to go to back to its home country. But the thing is that when it comes to the seaport, some failures has been happening in that ship. Because of it, it can't return back to its home country, because the ship is not even starting. It has a kind of some kind of starting troubles. What happened is that most of the scientists, they came, the kind of engineers, well experienced engineers, they came, and they just saw everything. And what to say, they can't even analyze what's the actual problem with the ship, why it's not even starting. And after it went a few weeks, months, and after 2 months, they don't know what to do. And one man was just crossing that way, that engineers were doing some kind of works, he was just crossing the way, and he was asking like, what is the problem, what are you just discussing about? And one man told that, okay, this ship has to travel back to its country, but it's just over here for past 2 months. We don't know what's happening, what's the kind of failures had happened actually in that ship. Then he did it. Why shall I try? Okay, most of the person tried. If you also want to try, you can try, but I'm sure that you can't even find out what's the fault is. And at last, what he do, what he did? He just pulled out one small equipment like spanner or something, and he just kind of made sure that the screw is tight in one part of the ship, and he just did it. And after that, the entire ship, it started.
Exactly.
And after that, what happened is that, the senior engineer, the captain of the ship, he has to actually sign the slip, because whatever the charges it takes to kind of repair the ship, it will be handled by the captain of the ship. He has to sign that slip. Only when he signed that slip, that insurance will actually give that money. So the captain asked, like, he was seeing the slip, and he was just totally like surprised to see he charged around $10,000. It's around 8 lakh Indian rupees. And the captain was asking what he actually do. His co-engineer, they tell like it took him just 5 minutes. He was just making sure the screw was tight. Then why did he
Right.
charge $10,000 for this just tightening? And that man came to him and he told the ship, yes, the work just took me just 5 minutes to do the work. But the thing is that where the problem is, in order to find where the actual problem is, he had to use his full 20-25 years of experience. And he found the right,
Exactly.
part of the ship where the problem was actually was. So this, yeah, actually for
Exactly.
just making sure the screw was tight, it took him just $5. and the remaining amount is just make for his experience, that without him the
Yes.
whole ship can't be started. So I think this is the right kind of story which we can actually tell to our clients, that if somebody or the other, if they again ask us the same question, you are just teaching us simple kind of things, why are you charging this much of amount, then this is the right kind of thing which
Yes.
we can tell.
I so agree, and the story is actually what I wanted to explain.
Yeah.
That also, it is not something that we charge extraordinary, just not me, but like me, there are other teachers out there who are really, really talented, who really, really have the knowledge. It is not something that they charge extraordinary. It's just that this art is looked upon something very easy, something taken very, taken for granted for that matter. Not by everybody, definitely not by everybody, but for by a part of the, society. So I just want to say out there that this is something, because our, as being yoga therapists, our heart breaks when we see people not doing the particular practices and end up something big, end up with something big. We I did have an experience with a participant of mine, actually my dad's. I wouldn't say the story with the name, but that was heartbreaking for us to see. That just because if they would have listened to one suggestion of ours to continue the practice for next 6 months, the person would be alive today. So, things seem really, really small, but with years they take a larger appearance. That is what is we try to avoid.
Yeah, that's why it's very vital to take the, as I told in the beginning of the interview, that doing yoga is something like which each and every individual can do, but with the kind of proper instructions. It's not only for yoga, it's for each and every department. Wherever, if you're going to hit to a gym, make sure that you just get your kind of training sessions from your seniors, the kind of gym trainers. They only will be having that kind of experience, and they'll be telling what will be actually happening if you don't kind of do your works in the right way. What are the things it can go wrong? So before what to say, we were just talking about the kind of charges that people actually think. The thing
Yeah,
is that people actually kind of calibrate the kind of experience, the kind of work they do with the help of the actually the charges they actually do. Consider I was what I have to say is I am basically an engineering graduate, and after I finished my
okay.
engineering, many suggested me to go on a kind of join some course and everything, something like that. What happened is that I was just calling 2 to 3 companies, and I was just asking them, please kindly tell me what is the course fees over there. And they told me that one company was telling me like we charge around 10K, that is 10,000 Indian rupees, and the other company was telling us we charge around 25,000 rupees for just 1 month. And I was just totally like confused where to join. And at the end of the thing,
Yeah.
people were telling me to go and join for a company which charged like 25K, that is 25,000 for a month. Then I was like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
then why I asked them, they told me simply that, okay, if they're charging high, then it will be like they will be teaching you high. Like it's the how
Yeah.
it happen. The thing is that people
Yeah.
always forget that it's not based upon the charges, it's based upon the kind of things which they're actually educating. Someone will be having very kind, I do not want to go deep into the business, but in a very large
Yes.
perspective, I'll tell you a simple thing. uh, Charges are basically the kind of help which we are actually giving to them, which we are actually favoring them
Yes.
in the kind of support of their own family. Of course, each and every human have to take
Exactly.
care of the family. So if they are not going to give some respect to them, and if consider a small example like this, if somebody they give something to you in your hand, like telling you take it as granted and it's totally absolutely free, then we'll be having a lot of questions whether this product is genuine or not, and whether we'll be able to trust it or
Exactly.
not. And there is a lot of things happening all over in our mind. So when someone gives us with the charge, explaining us that okay, this product can do this kind of things and we charge like this, then we'll be having some kind of
Also to,
respect.
yeah, yeah. Also to put it in a philosophical way, the exchange of energy is very important.
Yeah,
When you're doing something, when you're treating somebody, when you're doing something for somebody, the exchange of energy is really important. Otherwise, I know it is very I don't know how to say put it. Maybe it is a spiritual thing or a very psychological thing or a very philosophical thing, but that's true because we do have experiences. We have, you people believe that they experience. Even I don't used to believe on these things, but since I moved into this profession, since I started growing up understanding things, I got experience on my journey. I started believing in all those things. The energy exchange is very, very important when it comes to something, when you're healing somebody in terms of healing physically, healing emotionally, helping them mentally, anything.
yeah, I truly understand because the words which are told by you was told by a very famous, I mean, professional whom I was interviewing, and she's in Germany, and she was just doing. We were just having a nice talk, and she told me they use the word called energy exchange. That's where I
Yes,
was just able to come to a new term called energy exchange. So normally, basically speaking, it's a kind of thing I usually kind of deal everything what's happening in our life with a simple term called karma. Whatever things you are doing to the
yes,
society, if you're doing good, it will come back to you. If you're not doing good, then also it will be coming back to you. So make
come
sure that
back to you.
whatever things you're doing, because each and everything has its own price. Each and everything has its own price. Nothing comes for
Yes,
like granted. If you are going to do, like I always tell people, if you're going to do some kind of good things to people, just forget it. No need to worry about it because it will be coming back to you not only from that person but also from the other person, because that's how the kind of course
that's exactly a part of yoga called as karma
yeah,
yoga.
yeah, exactly. Of course, we are living in Kali Yuga, but the thing is that even in Kali Yuga, there are some kind of good things happening. So that's why I still kind of believe in kind of positive things. Yeah, now our conversation totally went from kind of yoga to kind of spiritual ones. So now coming back to the
Yes,
yoga. So actually, tell me
yeah.
how much impact that does this spirituality comes into yoga part when you're just teaching the students, because you also teach them to work in a spiritual mode. So tell us, how do you incorporate your yoga with this spiritual practices, ma'am?
Very much. Very much. Your question is exactly right because as I said, the goal of yoga is union. When I say union, you directly come to the part spirituality. Union is nothing but union that is joining, getting one with the uh, force or the power who has created our soul or a part of them that we are in a human form or whatever, like that. Whatever you believe, whatever is your belief, it's exactly we have to go back from where we have come. So for that, the whole process to complete the cycle, to put an end to the cycle of the birth, life, rebirth, death, to put an end to the cycle is what we are doing yoga. The only goal of a yoga is to, able to go for samadhi, to able to sit in a meditative posture for longer hours. Why are we doing asanas? Are we doing asanas to get flexibility? Are we doing asanas to definitely heal ourselves, to heal ourselves from different things? But basically, we are doing it to be able to sit in a simple meditative posture for a long time without moving or without having any discomfort. That is what is asana. Stiram Sukham Asana. Stiram is steady, Sukham is be happy, Asanam is Asanam. So in that asana, you should be steady and happy, both. So that is the goal of practicing asanas, basically. So when you talk about spirituality, very much all these things, the way I told you, simply in between asanas, I try to, pass it through it to my students because even if they are, some of them are interested, some of them are not very much interested in the spiritual talks, but what happens is whenever you give them these things between classes, between conversations, even between conversations, even while they work, somewhere or the other they will be relating it into their daily life. And when they will relate it into their daily life, they will believe in it because they will have the experience of their own, of what we give them as a knowledge. That is what I believe. Whenever you give a knowledge, give it in such a way that they can experience it and believe in it. Because still when you can't experience, people don't tend to believe in it. in today's Kali Yuga, to be precise.
So that's a kind of good kind of teaching. Of course, we should kind of teach our students in the way that they can experience the life. Only when we are giving some kind of real life examples, then they'll be able to kind of understand it. It's just like what to say, a kind of 10 student, 11th standard, high school student, if they're going for a physics class, they'll be like, okay, it's going to be boring because we have to deal with equations. It's like, it's a kind of thing which I
Exactly.
never really wanted to do because it's totally like theorems which is very difficult for me to read. But the thing is that if the Indian education system, if they are actually having many practicals, so of course they are having practical sessions in physics, but if they're able to kind of tell each and everything in a very kind, you must have seen the movie called Three Idiots, which is done by Amir Khan.
Yes.
So in the end of the movie,
Yeah.
there will be a scene like he'll be teaching everything in a very kind of way that physical way that people, I mean, kids can easily understand. Because of it, people will be kind of doing some kind of experiments. It will be a lot of fun. So I do understand that you are teaching your students the kind of things that they needed to learn in a very kind of good way, so that it will make them kind of have more interest towards that yoga. So also I wanted to ask
Yes.
this very simple question, ma'am. When they're doing aerial yoga practices, so if some students feel it very struggle to do that kind of not only area yogas but also with many yogasanas, if they are finding it very difficult to perform, how do you actually make them kind of ease? If you should actually make them calm first, you should make them feel ease first, then only you can make them perform the yoga. So tell us, with the help of this aerial yoga, you can tell what are the things you wanted to tell to the people, because you have to swing, you have to make sure that it's very strong when you're hanging from the ceiling. So it's like, tell us about it, ma'am.
First of all, students don't have to worry about, that it will come off because the material that is used can take up to 300 to 400 kgs. The wire which is tied, that minimum takes up to 800 to 1000 kgs at one time, because on one rod we tie different swings, different aerial silks. So basically, you don't have to, yes, because it is very silky and we tie a knot, that knot gets shorter, shorter, shorter. So they might feel that it is coming down, but it's just stretching. It's not going to fall. So, what we make them do is, we as teachers, like what I do, I simply, if the student is scared to stand, they say that, okay, I'll fall because, this is something that will rip off with my weight. What I do is I just go, stand on that, and I jump. And I said them, if I am jumping 2, 3 times and it is not falling, definitely if you will sit, it is not going to fall. So definitely, there are a few technical and safety measures to be taken care of by the instructor or by the teacher when it comes to aerial yoga. There are a few instructions that you're supposed to tell to your student. There should be a foam mat always kept below. There should be safety measures taken care of also. Also, another thing, I'll give you an example of my student. Doing these things opens up your emotions a lot. There are people who tend to cry. They don't cry out of pain, but it's a crying of outburst of emotions, which they have been carrying, which they've been controlling over a long period of time, I feel. So, this is very important to know. Uh, yeah, Krishna? Yeah, you're able to hear me, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I was saying about people carry a lot of emotions. So these practices tend to, burst out all their emotions. All this, simply comes out, and comes out in such a way that you can't really control. We just say them that this is very common. Take your time, sit, take it out, cry. It's okay. It's all right. You have to make them really feel comfortable in the space, very, very comfortable in this space. Of course, when it comes to yoga, when people are not able to do a few things, what we do is, what I have learned is, we make use of simple props. Now, there is a thing that people have, I don't need help of anything. I am very independent. It's not about you need it mentally or you don't need a support of something. It's about your body needs that modification. It's a small modification that we are making to make things easier. But for me, it's very important to understand. More than giving a prop, an instructor or a teacher should understand when to take that prop away from the person, because the student shouldn't get dependent on the prop. You have to give them, make use of it till they are able to achieve. Once they're able to achieve, you have to take that back from them, because you need to show them that this is just the beginning. Everything is just a beginning. It is never the end. You have to travel and travel and travel a lot to, reach your goal. It's very, this is the way I, incorporate these thoughts in their mind of spirituality also, that this is not the start, or this is just not the end. This is just the start. You need to go on and on and on and on, further and further and further, and not stop. Don't be contented with something that is helping you out. Definitely be thankful that, okay, you're helping me out, but it's time to go now. Go away, because now I am going to go further. So that is how it works with the props, with, uh, physically, spiritually, mentally. That is what how the classes go.
Yeah, I do understand that everything has its own time. Just like if you're going to have a kind of session, how to ride a bicycle. In the beginning stage, some friends will be helping us balance the bicycle. At one point of time,
Yes.
no need to worry, there will be four wheels, like two wheels over here, and I mean, one wheel in the right, one wheel on the right. So left and right. So we'll be able to balance it, do it. And we have to make sure that till the end we can't just travel with the kind of balance. So at one point of time we should actually remove it. So we should actually make sure that
Yes.
what point of time we should actually remove it, so that we will be able to kind of perform it single-handedly. And also you said that each and every student, they don't need to worry about the kind of aerial yogasanas, because it can support more than 200, 300 kind of kilos. So actually that's a kind of good information which we got via this interview, because people are just thinking like, okay, it's just like a normal cloth which is hanging, but right now you told that it's something
No.
which is
It's
different
a
from,
special kind of cloth.
which is totally
It's a
different,
special.
which is totally
Yeah,
different.
there are different types of cloths actually. So everybody has its own speciality. Some are called as a half hammock, some are called as a full hammock, something is called as a full aerial silk. So there are different things. But you don't need to worry about the weight, because especially these are made for this art form. So it is made with the material in such a way, it is made with the weaving in such a way that it can carry so much of weight.
Yeah, that's the most kind of questions which actually people get in the mind when you're doing some kind of aerial yogasanas. So also tell us, ma'am, right now you're conducting both offline on online kind of classes, or where do you actually
Yes.
concentrate the most? And is it like you wanted to travel to one, you're doing, currently you're doing in performing in Bangalore, so we can just have offline classes with you. Is there something we can get an opportunity, like you can come to different cities and you can just teach to a lot of students over there? Or do you also plan to have kind of go to international countries, to neighboring countries, and you just have kind of sessions teaching yoga asanas, because you're a certified yoga teacher, and also you should actually carry this kind of yoga practices to every people all across the world. So tell us, what are your future aim that you wanted to do in this yoga things? Kind of tell us your classes. Tell us you're planning to open a kind of different academy in different cities or different country. Actually, it may be like even a wish. Whatever you wanted to tell about your future venture, you can just tell it right now, ma'am.
Yes, so right now we are having our own center in Pune city, called as Amarayog Foundation, wherein we have one of our branch with partner with a Ayurvedic doctor in Nasik, again a city in Maharashtra. We do take visit Mumbai a lot of times for physical classes. We do have online community. We have a really good online community. People doing from Singapore. There are people doing from Dubai. There are people doing from London. There are people doing from US. So we have different people doing from different countries classes. That is why we work at really, really odd times, to be very precise, starting from 4 in the morning, 10, 11 at in the night, because of the time difference and all. That is how we teach. Yes, definitely. Abroad is my. We do. I do. I've been traveling to Dubai for a couple of times for workshops, physical workshops over there. I do conduct personal classes over there. I love traveling and teaching a lot. So I am what is my goal is to set up a wellness center altogether with the naturopathy, Ayurvedic, yogic services to people, let them heal themselves naturally. And at the same time, there is something that I want to do is set up different places in different cities. For example, teacher being an online teacher with a big screen with a projector performing and doing, and we provide them with the studio and the props. So the place is provided, the students come there offline, but the teacher is online. Because being in one place, I cannot cater too many people. And I really feel this is something that we really need to take care of and to spread to people. This knowledge shouldn't get extinct. This knowledge is very, very valuable, very, very, very valuable and very useful for people. This shouldn't get extinct. We are supposed to spread these knowledges, and I feel very, very, very fortunate that I am being a part of it to spread this knowledge to different people. I do intend to visiting different cities for offline classes, for workshops, and then people can join in the online. Another thing I would like to note, there are so many people who say we can't do yoga online. It's not about we can't do yoga online or we don't understand how it is taught. It's about, I would like to say, just try, give it a try. What we have been taught, my father has been taught by his guru, what I have been taught by my gurus. If there are 500 people standing in front of you, your eye should be so strong that you should be able to see each and every little finger also if it is moving in the correct way or not. That eye is given to our by our gurus to see, to observe a particular person, to correct them. For correction, our voice is enough to correct them. A strong voice is enough to correct them. A strong eyesight is enough to correct them, even if it is online. I completely understand the concept, that we can't do online. But trust me, there are people from Dubai practicing with us for like more than 5 years, and they are doing excellent, and they're doing just online. We just go once a year for a workshop, offline workshop with them, and they are amazing. The people practicing there for 5 years now, more than 5 years, they are amazing. Their practice is so much better than people who've been practicing offline also. That's because, again, consistency, dedication, and they do it with all their heart.
That's a kind of great kind of story which I actually kind of getting from you. It's a kind of real life experience because people just think that you are just performing your duties only in Bangalore. But the thing is that you are traveling to different cities and I also traveling to
Yes,
Dubai and doing kind of offline sessions over there. That's a kind of interesting topic to discuss because people actually kind of calibrate each and every kind of departments where the kind of things, roles they play. And right now you're performing a global level kind of professional work because you're traveling to every places,
yes,
making sure that also you said that right teacher will be able to address each and every student. If consider it maybe more than 500 students, they'll be notice even a little movement in any of the students over there in the group. That's a kind of good
exactly.
thing, ma'am. So you're in the global wishing you all the best for your future ventures. So we need a lot of kind. We are expecting a lot of you. So also at the same time, people who are watching this interview right now, if any of you want to have some kind of offline sessions or online sessions, I'll mention yoga certified teacher Arya, Sant, Instagram profile in the YouTube description down here so that you can click and you can just directly message her and you can just have kind of conversation and you can just have your healthy life by just following the kind of yoga practices which is taught by your great tutor Arya Sant ma'am over here in Bangalore right now. It's not only people right now in Bangalore, but she is also into offline classes, I mean online classes. So people who are watching this interview from different parts of the world, if you're interested, you can just have a conversation and you can just kind of deal with Arya Sant ma'am over here. So one last question for this interview, ma'am. Via this interview, if you wanted to tell any kind of message to people who are watching this interview right now, tell us what kind of message would you like to tell to the people. It may be for the kids, middle-aged person, teenage person, or old-aged person. It may be for anyone. Whatever things that you wanted to tell to the people, you can just tell it right now.
Yes, I just want to pass on one message that just be happy with whatever you do. And if you're not, it's the time to find your way, to find your path, to feel contented. It's not like being happy by partying or something. It's about being happy in life, being contented, feeling satisfaction. The feeling of satisfactory, trust me, is out of this world. So try and get that, choose your path, work on your path, heal yourself, and practice yoga sadhana every day.
Okay, I do understand that. Okay, we have to feel actually at the end, very end of our life, we'll be thinking like whether our soul, of course, we are a soul in different human beings, different human physical body. Our soul will be thinking like, are we able to kind of access the full potential of us? Did we actually perform it?
Yeah.
So, or actually, we have been going in the wrong track. If we have been in the right track, our soul will be fulfilled because we are doing the work we actually wanted to do in our life. We are actually born in this world to kind of fulfill the purpose of our soul, and we can just actually kind of fulfill the purpose of our soul only when we try to find the actual purpose, actual work that we wanted to accomplish in this life. So, only by doing it, we can actually come our kind of so satisfactory in a very full circle of life. And in order to kind of come in a very full circle, then we should kind of follow some good yoga practices, good exercises, help of which we can achieve whatever things we want to do in our life, and we can make our soul fulfilled. I do accept, ma'am. So once again, thank you, Arya Sant, ma'am, for coming and joining this Women Today YouTube channel. That was a great session with you. We had a lot of knowledge. Being a yoga instructor for many years, you had been teaching how to do yoga practices and what are the things we can expect from aerial yoga. And there is a lot of kind of things, knowledge we got from you by doing normal breathing exercises, pranaya, and a lot more we have seen in this review. So thank you again for joining this interview, ma'am. So good evening. Have a very nice, ma'am.
Thank you for having me, Krishna. Thank you for having me.
Thank
Yeah.
you, ma'am.